with my previous group. Okay, so I'm just going to go through that step by step with them because they started this cut last week, but we just did a recap and went through it all again. So some of this will probably be one step ahead of where you are now, right? But this is what I used with them this morning as their step by step. So I'll probably want to draw a few things on there. I'll rub it out and draw it again because there are some things that I like to explain as we go along because there's things that you need to do and there's things that you might do that could make it go wrong very rapidly. And it's like, I need to show you when to stop and how to stop and use the mirror and things like that. Okay, so long graduation. Welcome to long graduation. Long graduation is basically, all we're going to change on this haircut, you've all got blocks, I believe, that have got a one-length haircut on them now. You've got no layering on them at all. And what we're going to try to achieve is we are working on the interior layers, the interior part of the hair. So we're not going to be touching the actual perimeter edge, the baseline that you put in. So that lovely one-length haircut is going to stay where it is. We're not going to be doing that at all. But we are going to be incorporating some very soft layers, but to the internal part of this head. Okay, so everything in the middle here will be layered, and then everything around the outside will stay as a one-length haircut. All right. Now you start with your basic sectioning. Now this sectioning is actually probably what we use for every single haircut that we're going to be doing. Okay, your 4 basic haircuts. So you start with a hot cross bun section, okay, of which you all know how to do if you've done your one-length haircut. Right, so just for your purpose, 4 equal sections, okay, so going from, use the mirror when you do this, so if you use your mirror and you come up through the centre, symmetrical line, from the forehead all the way down to the nape. And then if you then just go from the crown, which is the top of the head here, sort of, some people tend to get it a little bit too far forward, okay, here, or too far back. I always say this, as the head curves over, if you sort of hit around in the middle point, and then go from there to the point of the ears, that would give you 4 equal, nice quarter sections. Okay. Hello.
The go from the ear up.
Yeah.
We've just said a couple of, when we've done it, sometimes it's gone straight up, vertical, and sometimes it's tilted back towards the, more towards...
So you've gone back here. So
yeah,
you've gone more to the crown at the back.
Yeah, which way should we? For a hot cross bun, is it straight up?
Well, again, what I would tend to do is, as the head starts to curve, so you're pretty straight up to about this point, okay, and then as it just starts to curve over, anywhere sort of between that point, but usually about halfway, is good. All right, so you're just looking at, you know, as the head tips over. Because you need a nice section to go from the tip of the ear, but if you bring it too far forward, you've got too much hair to work on at the back. Okay, so round about the natural crown point. So from the ears, upwards. Is that okay for everybody? Would you agree with that, Sandy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the sectioning technique that you've used, for your one-length haircut, you would have taken a baseline here and then cut your first section in. But what changes when you do long graduation, we're going to be working from the crown to the nape with our first section. So we're going to have to incorporate what we call a channel section. Okay, and that's where, excuse my little pictures, it's just that I've got all of the objectives on the board already, so I'll just draw you a very small picture. So this is the back of your head here. Okay, is there. So this is your hot cross bun section. Okay, so just going across like this. And what you need to do is you need to take a small section either side of that middle line here. Okay, and that will give you a channel going down to the back. Okay. So it's a bit like a Mohican. Right, so from my central line here, I'm just going to go probably a centimetre at the most. Alright, you don't want too much hair to work with, so a centimetre section going down as
So each side.
a channel, each side of this central line.
Centimetre.
1 centimetre. Now there's only one thing that will determine the difference in that. So I don't know how far along the line you are, but there are some factors that we do need to consider with the actual size of the sections that we're taking. So can anybody throw something at me that would make me do a different sized section? For instance, slightly smaller.
Crown, maybe?
Sorry?
Yeah, double crown. They want more layers.
Maybe, yeah, not so much the hair growth pattern, but what would make me take either a finer section or a thicker section?
Thickness of the hair.
Okay, what do we call that?
Texture. Density.
Density. Okay, so it's down to the density of the hair. So if the hair were a lot finer, okay, you may be able to take a slightly larger section. However, if you had very thick, coarse hair, you may want to make your section slightly smaller because you need to be able to see the previous guideline. Okay? So your channel section, you can sort of tip it. It looks a bit like a Mohican going through. Right, so it's just that middle section there. Now that's going to become our initial guideline. Does that really